telework. I think the concept that you can run multiple video streams, and I'm talking about this tomorrow in much more detail, and we've got demos here in much more detail. The fact that you're not just running one face-to-face video, you can have multiple people coming in when you've got that bandwidth. You can share documents, you can share high-res graphics for the film industry, for user-generated content, for health, when you're looking at high-res x-rays, high-quality video of the patient. One of the things I learned working with the doctors was how much they take of the colour of the patient. Because one day we had a prototype going and we had the screens adjusted wrong. One of the specialists came in and first time in his life he ever swore at me, he almost hit me. He said, "You've completely ruined it, it's terrible, what have you done?" And it turned out we just hadn't got the screens adjusted right. And he just walked into the room and saw it like that. So the fidelity of what you can send with really high definition video is very important to these things. And the same goes for teaching. I know, some teachers, music teachers or special needs teachers, they want to interact very closely. They want to read the body language. We found that also with the film industry. When we were helping the special effects houses in Sydney who do things like Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, Moulin Rouge, all those special effects, a lot of them were done in Sydney or Adelaide. When they showed the special effect to the director, to a Spielberg or whoever it is, they wanted to see their face. They wanted to read the body language the moment they clicked on that email and opened up the link and saw it. So that whole concept of personalisation, personal interaction is very important. Have I done my time? Okay, so I'll finish there. Okay.
Thanks, Terry. And now we have Megan Dixon, the Vice President of the Dubbo Chamber of Commerce.
And to be different, I actually have a little presentation.
I'll go right ahead.
So,
Oh, you need to go over there? Yeah, absolutely.
So I do have a little presentation which I hope is, yes, brilliant, thank you. And it's funny hearing the speakers talk before me. 18 years ago, my first job was with a regional development organisation, and one of the first projects that I worked on was a funding application to teach people how to use the internet. And things like Ask Jeeves were the search engines that people used. Anybody remember that? So, and it's funny because here we are today, 18 years on, and the internet and the web are still being talked about as being extremely important for how we conduct our businesses, and perhaps even more so, it's even more so important. What I wanted to do was really take a practical approach to what the Dubbo Chamber of Commerce and Industry has done with the internet and how we're using the web. It's become a very important part of our business and our business model, and I've just got a little brief presentation to sort of explain our journey around the web becoming such an important part of our business model. So we... does this work? Where should I be pointing to? Oh, there we go. The gadget guy was going to fix it, but no need. So the Dubbo Chamber of Commerce and Industry is actually the oldest, one of the oldest local chambers in New South Wales, and I can confidently say that we're also one of the best, having won last year the best local chamber, and it was awarded by the New South Wales Business Chamber, and we were up against some very tough competition, including a number of Sydney-based chambers which have a number of more volunteers than we do, and are probably better resourced than us to some degree as well. So, now it's not working again. What am I doing? The Chamber's a not-for-profit organisation. We're run by some very dedicated board members who I've just put up, and I've really just buggered it now. So, and we have a part-time executive officer who works about 20 hours a week to support some of the things that we do. So where should I be pointing this? All right. It's slow, it's interesting. So bring on the NBN. Can't wait for the speed. So that's a lovely photo of our executive officer who's been with us for a year and has been doing a fabulous job with us. The organisation we've got 250 members. We've worked really hard to grow that membership, and in the last year we've added about 80 members to our organisation from where we were. And I think our key reason for being is really about supporting the business community, making sure that they're best practice, providing opportunities for them to learn and be involved, and to do partnerships like this one with Orana RDA that actually create some of those opportunities for business. Networking is obviously a key part of our business, and as a facilitator, and as a business, there's not a lot of money to be made from facilitating connections. We really rely on our membership for an income and from sponsorships, and we've got some terrific sponsors and partners that we work with to actually deliver events. But like all businesses, I think over the last 5 years in particular, we've really struggled to operate without being insolvent. And some of the challenges that we've had to face have been around things like rising costs, increasing pressures from members who are looking for value for money. So that's been some of the challenges for us. And in order to actually make sure that we are operating appropriately and as a member-based organisation, about 2 years ago the board started doing some business planning and strategic planning, and it's been really happening for about 5 years in terms of board turnover, where we've really been looking at how we operate and trying to actually create some efficiencies. And this is where the web has played a huge role for us, and our partnership with a local provider who is BosWeb Systems, who I'm told are actually the third largest Adobe Catalyst partner in the world, which says a lot for a Dubbo firm. So part of our process has been to really think about our own business strategy, but then also look at our systems, procedures and processes in terms of what we've been doing. And we've turned to the web in terms of actually facilitating some of those efficiencies within our organisation. It's become not only our main communicator with members, it's also our member database. It runs our accounts, and it's done some really great things for us. So the old way that we used to operate, we had 4 operating systems, which included, we probably had a couple of more as well that I didn't know about, but our main ones were MYOB. We had an Access database that we ran all our membership off that didn't connect with anything. We had our website, and we were using MS Outlook for email. Member communication was probably a little bit ad hoc, and as a member-based organisation, it's a critical thing for our business. The admin hours, we had a bookkeeper as well as an executive officer, and the project management was fairly ad hoc in terms of that there's 12 board members, and we didn't really know what each other was doing. So even board to EO and between board member communication has been critical. Over the last 18 months, what's changed for us is that our website's become our customer management system. Everything that we do runs from the back end of that website, and it's created so much efficiency for us in terms of knowing whether a member's paid, allowing us to create a membership directory. Our booking system and cash flow has improved because of the integration, because people are paying online now instead of us sending out invoices. It's become a really important part of our business. We're also doing some other things at the moment. We're playing with a product called TeamLab, which is a cloud-based project management system that allows you to share docs, schedule tasks to different board members for different committees. So we're actually using it for our business awards, which is a really large event for us. And we're using those things in order to actually drive what we do. And one of the great things about TeamLab is it sends everybody reminders, so there's no slippage in terms of time. Where we're heading to, at the moment, we do still have a manual accounting system, so we're looking at integrating that, and I did see Xero in the room before, and that's a product that we are looking at in terms of that integration. So we're using eWay to take money, but we just want to streamline that invoicing that the government requires in terms of everybody needs an invoice. And I think from a chamber perspective, it's really important that we actually lead the business community by example, and that we set a really good example to the business community in terms of what we're doing. So some of the other things, you know, the Rhino Business Awards, previously to enter them, you had to do it by paper, it was a paper form. We certainly didn't have a business directory which encouraged member-to-member buy, and our event RSVPs used to be done by email, phone and fax, and then we'd generate an invoice, so cash flow was always really slow. New Way, Rhinos, last year we actually had a form and people had to email. This year we're actually going online with the assistance of the New South Wales Business Chamber. Our judges come from out of town, so that's going to make things much easier for judging as well. The online business directory, so at the moment anybody can go online and do a search for a local business off our business directory, and we do encourage that member-to-member buy, so it's just another thing. And the setting up of that has taken us no time at all in terms of that web and that back end actually driving that for us. And then the event RSVPs now are only online for us, so if you haven't registered for breakfast yet, you need to go online and do that tomorrow, and you can only do it online, and you need to pay online as well, and it's a credit card transaction and we get the money straight away, which obviously improves cash flow, which is something that every business wants. In terms of, and this is just a quick snapshot, we also run our newsletter off the website. I know that the sponsor, one of the sponsors, Reliance IT, I think use the same system as BosWeb. It's a really powerful thing. It gives us these reports. So this was last week's newsletter that we do. We send out to 500 subscribers. Shows the number. You know, it's real live. It's lifetime reporting, so we know how many opened. We know that somebody subscribed. We can look at who unsubscribed and address that if we need to. So it's the power of the web that I encourage every business to actually consider and start using in terms of the way that you communicate with people. And I think lessons learned for us, and from a leadership perspective in terms of the Chamber of Commerce, in this day and age it's nearly criminal not to have a web presence, be it a website, a social media page on Facebook, you know, even being registered on Google Places. You need to consider how you use that website and how you can actually use it to create efficiencies in your business, to communicate and engage with your customers and your stakeholders, and for the Chamber, those stakeholders are our sponsors. Web and online will only work if you really think about the content, and you really, I guess one of the other lessons for us is that you also need to really think about your systems and look to avoid duplication. So when you're looking to create a website, it's really important to actually think about the systems that can sit with it, that can create efficiency in your business. So I think to wrap, I have to give some